Welcome back to our channel. We're now seeing Willow's remorse, and this is setting in a new obsession involving Drew waking up, and a new adjustment is underway as Willow is genuinely trying to protect Wiley and Amelia. Port Charles has always been a place of passion, secrets, and second chances, but the latest developments with Drew, Willow, Michael, and Chase feel like they're turning up the heat on every front, stirring up emotions. I haven't felt this intensely since some of the classic rivalries back in the 90s. As someone who's watched through births, deaths, weddings, and more betrayals than I can count, I find myself pausing during commercial breaks just to catch my breath and wonder how the writers keep finding fresh ways to pull us deeper into the drama. And this time around, it's hitting especially close to home because it touches on themes of love, control, and the fragile nature of trust that we've all navigated in our own long lives. It all started gaining momentum with Drew showing these miraculous signs of recovery, something that seemed almost too perfect to be real after everything he'd been through. I remember thinking at first, well, isn't this just like the show to give us a ray of hope right when things look darkest? Drew had always struck me as one of those steady, heroic types in Port Charles, the kind of man who fought for what was right and stood by his friends through thick and thin. But as the episodes progressed, it became clear that this recovery wasn't just a simple medical miracle. It was the spark that ignited a whole chain of revelations none of us saw coming. Willow, bless her heart, had been carrying such a heavy burden, pretending everything was fine, while her true feelings simmered beneath the surface. I could see the weight on her shoulders growing heavier each day, and when she finally reached that breaking point and decided to confess that her heart wasn't in it anymore, that she still carried those deep memories of Michael and the life they once shared, it felt like such a raw, honest moment. I've been in situations myself where holding on to a facade for the sake of peace becomes exhausting, and Willow's choice resonated with me so strongly because it showed her courage in facing the truth, even if it meant risking everything she'd built. What surprised me most, though, and this is where my personal take differs a bit from how I expected the story to unfold based on Drew's past portrayals, was his reaction. He didn't respond with the gentle understanding I'd come to associate with him from earlier storylines, where he seemed like a man of integrity who valued freedom and honesty. Instead, this new side of him emerged, one that was controlling and intense, declaring he'd use every bit of his power and resources to keep Willow by his side no matter what. It was a chilling shift, and I found myself leaning forward in my chair, heart pounding, asking out loud to my empty living room, how could someone we thought we knew so well transform like this? But as I reflected on it over the next few episodes, it made a strange kind of sense when you consider the pressures these characters have faced, the losses, the schemes, the constant battles for control in a town like Port Charles. Drew's words painted a picture of a man desperate not to lose what he saw as his. And while part of me wanted to root for the old Drew to return, this darker layer added such compelling depth. It proved to me once again that no one in this show stays static forever. Life in Port Charles has a way of reshaping even the strongest souls. Willow's realization that she was trapped in what felt like a golden cage hit me hard, and I think that's what makes this arc so gripping for longtime fans like me. Here she was, surrounded by all the trappings of security and influence, yet it was poisoning her spirit from the inside out. No easy escape, no simple conversation to fix it, just this suffocating sense that her choices had led her into a corner where every path seemed blocked. I kept wondering, as the scenes played out, whether she'd find the strength to break free, or if the pull of old loyalties would keep her there longer. And wouldn't you know it, the show answered that question in the most unexpected way by showing her internal struggle deepening. She began to grapple with the idea of making a real sacrifice, one that might even involve putting Drew's well-being ahead of her own happiness, despite everything. It wasn't about blind devotion anymore. It was about recognizing that sometimes, in the tangled web of relationships we've watched evolve over decades, the only way forward is through a painful compromise. This new obsession of hers, the way she fixated on protecting certain pieces of the past while trying to forge a different future, felt so authentic to the kind of emotional complexity that keeps me tuning in week after week. It proved that Willow isn't just reacting. She's actively reshaping her path, even if it means walking through fire. And that explosive change in her mindset has the whole town on alert. Then there's Chase, poor guy, who stumbled into this mess in the most innocent yet devastating way. I can picture him now, going about his business with that quiet determination he's always had, only to catch fragments of that tense exchange through a listening device of all things. It wasn't intentional eavesdropping, but the universe or the writers, bless them, had other plans. Suddenly, Chase found himself questioning the loyalty of everyone around him, realizing that the peaceful stretch poor Charles had enjoyed lately was nothing more than a thin veil over much deeper, more troubling schemes. I've always admired Chase for his sense of justice and his steady presence, qualities that made him such a reliable figure amid the chaos. But this moment cracked that foundation. It forced him to confront how easily facades can crumble. And I felt for him because I've seen similar shocks in my own life, where people you thought you could count on reveal layers you never suspected. The way this discovery rippled outward, making him doubt not just Willow and Drew, but the broader circle of friends and allies, added such a layer of suspense. I asked myself right then, will this push Chase toward isolation, or will it draw him closer to the truth in ways that heal old wounds? The episodes that followed resolved it quickly by showing him channeling that suspicion into quiet determination, proving that even in the face of betrayal, there's room for growth and unexpected alliances. What I love most about how this storyline is building is the way it keeps layering in those personal stakes that make General Hospital feel less like a television show and more like checking in on old friends. Willow's willingness to consider sacrifice for Drew's sake, even as she carries those lingering thoughts of Michael, creates this beautiful tension between duty and desire. It's not black and white. It's the gray area where real human drama lives. And as a viewer who's seen characters like her evolve through motherhood, loss, and rediscovery, I find it incredibly satisfying. The new adjustments we're witnessing, her shifting priorities, the way her obsession with breaking free while still offering help is forcing everyone to adapt, signal that bigger changes are on the horizon. Explosive doesn't even begin to cover it. You can feel the momentum building, like the calm before a summer storm here in my part of the country. Every episode leaves me eager for the next, wondering how Michael fits back into this puzzle, since those memories Willow holds dear aren't just background noise, they're fuel for whatever comes next. Will old flames reignite? Or will new barriers rise? The show handles it with such care, giving us just enough hints to keep the anticipation alive without rushing to tidy conclusions. Looking back over the years, I've noticed how General Hospital excels at these kinds of pivots, where miraculous recovery like Drew's doesn't just resolve problems, but multiplies them in the most intriguing ways. It differs from some of the more straightforward redemption arcs we've seen before, where characters simply return to their better selves. Here, the recovery exposes cracks we didn't know existed, and that's what makes it feel fresh and vital even after all this time. I've shared my thoughts with my book club friends who also watch, and we all agree that this arc captures the essence of why soaps endure. They mirror the complexities of long-term relationships, the ones that span decades and test every boundary. The heat of the situation is palpable. The way Willow's confession sets off Drew's protective instincts, Chase's suspicions rippling through the community, and that underlying promise of sacrifice creating an undercurrent of hope amid the turmoil. It's not overwhelming or distressing. Instead, it's the kind of engaging drama that leaves you feeling connected and excited for what's next, like catching up with family over coffee and hearing the latest news. As the story continues to unfold, with these new obsessions taking root and adjustments reshaping alliances, I can't help but feel optimistic about the direction it's heading. Willow's journey reminds me that strength often comes from the hardest choices, and Drew's transformation, while startling, adds richness to his character that I didn't expect but now appreciate for its honesty. Chase's role as the unwitting observer ties it all together, grounding the high-stakes emotions in that everyday sense of justice we've come to rely on from him. The piece we thought we had was indeed just a cover, but uncovering the schemes beneath it is what keeps the show alive and thriving. I find myself counting down the days until the next episode, knowing that whatever explosive developments await perhaps deeper revelations about loyalties or surprise interventions from unexpected corners will deliver the kind of satisfaction only General Hospital can provide. It's these moments that reaffirm why I've stayed loyal all this time. The characters grow with us, facing challenges that echo our own, and the storytelling never fails to blend tenderness with tension in the most captivating balance. If there's one thing I've learned from watching for so long, it's that no cage, golden or otherwise, holds forever when hearts are involved. Willow's path forward, with its mix of sacrifice and self-discovery, feels like a testament to resilience, and I, for one, am rooting for her to navigate it with the grace she's shown before. The way the writers weave in these elements, Drew's control clashing with her inner truth, Chase's doubts opening new doors, creates a tapestry that's both familiar and thrillingly new. The heat is definitely on in Port Charles, my friends, and it's the kind of warmth that draws you in closer rather than pushing you away. I can't wait to see how it all resolves. But one thing is certain. Whatever comes, it'll be worth every minute spent watching, just as it has been for all these wonderful years. The show continues to surprise and comfort me in equal measure, proving that even in our later seasons of life, there's always room for more stories that touch the soul and keep the spirit young.